Hi viewer, welcome to our another video. In this video we will discuss Top 25 C# Advanced Interview Questions and Answers. We will be uploading videos on technology and career guidance on our channel regularly, to encourage us to do more videos like this. Please subscribe to our channel if you are watching our channel for the first time. Don't forget to like this video if you like our video. Please share with your friends and family on the social network like WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. Question: What is generic class? Generics allow you to delay the specification of the data type of programming elements in a class or a method until it is used in the program. In other words, generics allow you to write a class or method that can work with any data type. You write the specifications for the class or the method, with substitute parameters for data types. When the compiler encounters a constructor for the class or a function call for the method, it generates code to handle the specific data type. Generic classes and methods combine reusability, type safety, and efficiency in a way their non-generic counterparts cannot. Generics are most frequently used with collections and the methods that operate on them. Version 2.0 of the .NET Framework class library provides a new namespace, system, collections, generic that contains several new generic-based collection classes. It is recommended that all applications that target the .NET Framework 2.0 and later use the new generic collection classes instead of the older non-generic counterparts, such as ArrayList. Features of generics. Generics are a technique that enriches your programs in the following ways. First, it helps you to maximize code reuse, type safety, and performance. You can create generic collection classes. The .NET Framework class library contains several new generic collection classes in the system, collections, generic namespace. You may use these generic collection classes instead of the collection classes in the system, collections namespace. You can create your own generic interfaces, classes, methods, events, and delegates. You may create generic classes constrained to enable access to methods on specific data types. You may get information on the types used in a generic data type at runtime using reflection. Next question: What is heap and stack? Stack provides static memory allocation, i.e., it is used to store the temporary variables. It is a linear data structure, means that elements are stored in the linear manner, i.e., one data after another. It is used to access the local variables. The size of the stack memory is limited, which is dependent on the OS. As it is a linear data structure, so data is stored in the contiguous blocks. In stack, the allocation and deallocation are automatically managed. The implementation of stack can be done in three forms using array, linked list, and dynamic memory. The main issue that occurs with a stack is the shortage of memory because the memory size cannot be changed at the runtime. The size of the stack is determined at the compile time. It is a fixed size. The access time in stack is faster. The size of the stack memory is decided by the operating system. The scope of the variable cannot be changed. Heap provides dynamic memory allocation. By default, all the global variables are stored in the heap. It is hierarchical data structure, means that the elements are stored in the form of tree. It is used to access the global variables by default. The size of the memory is not limited. As it is hierarchical data structure, so elements are stored in the random manner. In heap, the memory is manually managed. The implementation of heap can be done in two forms using arrays and trees. The main issue that occurs with a heap is the memory fragmentation. Here, memory fragmentation means that the memory gets wasted. It is flexible to use as the size of the heap can vary as per our needs. The access time in heap is slower. The size of the heap memory is decided by the programmers. The scope of the variable can be changed. Next question: What is boxing and unboxing? Boxing and unboxing are both used for type converting, but they have some differences. Boxing is converting a value type data type to the object or any interface data type implemented by this value type. For example, when the CLR boxes, A value means when CLR converts a value type to object type, it wraps the value inside a system, object and stores it on the heap area in the application domain. Unboxing is also a process to extract the value type from the object or any implemented interface type. Boxing may be done implicitly, but unboxing has to be explicit by code. The concept of boxing and unboxing underlies the C# unified view of the type system in which a value of any type can be treated as an object. Next question. What is managed and unmanaged code? Managed code. Managed code is the code that is developed using the .NET framework and its supported programming languages such as C# or VB.NET. Managed code is directly executed by the Common Language Runtime, CLR or runtime, and the runtime manages its lifecycle, including object creation, memory allocation, and object disposal. Any language that is written in .NET framework is managed code. Unmanaged code. The code that is developed outside of the .NET framework is known as unmanaged code. Applications that do not run under the control of the CLR are said to be unmanaged. For example, languages such as C or C++ or Visual Basic are unmanaged. The programmers directly manage the object creation, execution, and disposal of unmanaged code. Therefore, if programmers write bad code, it may lead to memory leaks and unwanted resource allocations. The .NET framework provides a mechanism for unmanaged code to be used in managed code and vice versa. The process is done with the help of wrapper classes. Next question. What is garbage collection? Garbage collection prevents memory leaks during execution of programs. Garbage collector is a low-priority process that manages the allocation and deallocation of memory for your application. It checks for the unreferenced variables and objects. If GC finds any object that is no longer used by the application, it frees up the memory from that object. GC has changed a bit with the introduction of .NET 4.0. In .NET 4.0, the GC collect method contains the following overloaded methods. GC collect int, GC collect int, GC collection mode. Another new feature introduced in .NET is to notify you when the GC collect method is invoked and completed successfully by using different methods. The .NET 4.0 supports a new background garbage collection that replaces the concurrent garbage collection used in earlier versions. This concurrent GC allocates memory while running in user's current segment, which is 16 MB on a workstation, for that. After that, all threads are suspended. In case of background GC, a separate ephemeral GC, Gen 0 and Gen 1 can be started, while the full GC, Gen 0, 1, and 2 is already running. Next question. What is serialization? Serialization in C# converts an object into a stream of bytes to store the object in memory, a database, or a file. Its main purpose is to save the state of an object from being able to recreate it when needed. The reverse process is called deserialization. There are three types of serialization. Binary serialization, save your object data into binary format. SOAP serialization, save your object data into binary format, mainly used in network-related communication. XML serialization, save your object data into an XML file. Next question. What is delegate? A delegate is similar to a class that is used for storing the reference to a method and invoking that method at runtime, as required. A delegate can hold the reference of only those methods whose signatures are same as that of the delegate. Some of the examples of delegates are type-safe functions, pointers, or callbacks. Next question. What are types of delegate? Single cast delegate, multiple cast delegate, generic delegate, func delegate, action delegate, predicate delegate. Next question. Single cast delegate. A single cast delegate holds the reference of only single method. Above created delegate are single cast delegate. Next question. Multicast delegate. A delegate which holds the reference of more than one method is called multicast delegate. A multicast delegate only contains the reference of methods which return type as void. The plus and plus equals operators are used to combine delegate instances. Next question. Generic delegate. C# introduced generic delegate types such as func and action. Generic delegates are present in the system namespace. Generic delegates allow programmers to not have to create a custom delegate for each type. Next question. Func delegate. The func delegate is a delegate included in the system namespace. They are used for value returning methods. They must accept a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 16 parameters and at least one output parameter. Programmers do not need to explicitly declare a custom delegate if they are using the func delegate. Next question. Action delegate. The action delegate is needed when we need to invoke a method that doesn't have any return type. Action delegate is capable of taking a maximum of 16 parameters as arguments, which means it has 16 overload methods. Next question. Predicate delegate. The predicate generic delegate is useful in such conditions where we need to pass a string to a method. In predicate generic delegate there is only one argument that can be passed. By default, predicate generic delegate returns a Boolean value that may be true or false. Next question. What is event? The applications and Windows communicate via predefined messages. These messages contain various information to determine window and application actions. The .NET considers these messages as an event. You will handle the corresponding event if you need to react to a specific incoming message. For instance, when a button is clicked on a form, Windows sends a WMMOUSECLICK message to the button message handler. You don't need to build custom methods to add or remove methods to a delegate invocation list. C# provides the event keyword. When the compiler processes the event keyword, you can subscribe and unsubscribe methods and any necessary member variables for your delegate types. Next question. Anonymous method and lambda expression. Anonymous methods, as their name implies, are nameless methods. They prevent the creation of separate methods, especially when the functionality can be done without a new method creation. Anonymous methods provide a cleaner and more convenient approach while coding. Define an anonymous method with the delegate keyword and a nameless function body. This code assigns an anonymous method to the delegate. The anonymous method must not have a signature. The signature and return type is inferred from the delegate type. For example, if the delegate has 3 parameters and returns a double type, the anonymous method would also have the same signature. Lambda expressions are how anonymous functions are created. In this article and code examples, we will see how to implement lambdas in C#. Lambda expressions are anonymous functions that contain expressions or sequence of operators. All lambda expressions use the lambda operator equals greater than, that can be read as, goes to, or, becomes. The left side of the lambda operator specifies the input parameters and the right side holds an expression or a code block that works with the entry parameters. Usually lambda expressions are used as predicates or instead of delegates, a type that references a method. Next question. What is extension method? A C# extension method allows developers to extend the functionality of an existing type without creating a new derived type, recompiling, or otherwise modifying the original type. C# extension method is a special kind of static method that is called as if it was an instance method on the extended type. In this article, we will create a class library and extend its functionality from the caller code by implementing extension methods in C#. Next question. C# extension method. C# extension method is a static method of a static class, where the this modifier is applied to the first parameter. The type of the first parameter will be the type that is extended. Extension methods are only in scope when you explicitly import the namespace into your source code with a using directive. Next question. What is nullable type? A nullable type is a data type that contain the defined data type or the value of null. You should note here that here variable data type has been given and then only it can be used. This nullable type concept is not compatible with var. Any data type can be declared nullable type with the help of operator. Next question. For loop vs for each. The for loop executes a statement or a block of statements repeatedly until a specified expression evaluates to false. The for each statement repeats a group of embedded statements for each element in an array or an object collection. You do not need to specify the loop bounds minimum or maximum. For each treats everything as a collection and reduces the performance. For each creates an instance of an enumerator, returned from getEnumerator, and that enumerator also keeps state throughout the course of the for each loop. It then repeatedly calls for the next object on the enumerator and runs your code for each object it returns. Using for loop we can iterate a collection in both direction, that is from index 0 to 9 and from 9 to 0. But using for each loop, the iteration is possible in forward direction only. In variable declaration, for each has 5 variable declarations, 3 int32 integers and 2 arrays of int32, while for has only 3, 2 int32 integers and 1 int32 array. When it goes to loop through, for each copies the current array to a new one for the operation. While for doesn't care of that part. A for loop is a construct that says, perform this operation n times. A for each loop is a construct that says, perform this operation against each value, object in this IEnumerable. Next question. What is enumerator? An enumerator helps you iterate, over a collection of items. You can infer the purpose by simply looking at the members of the IEnumerator interface. More specifically, the enumerator knows exactly where you are in the collection, the current item, and where the next item is, the moveNext method. An enumeration is a set of named integer constants. An enumerated type is declared using the enum keyword. C# enumerations are value data type. In other words, enumeration contains its own values and cannot inherit or cannot pass inheritance. Next question. What is yield keyword? The yield keyword signals to the compiler that the method in which it appears as an iterator block. The compiler generates a class to implement the behavior that is expressed in the iterator block. In the iterator block, the yield keyword is used together with the return keyword to provide a value to the enumerator object. This is the value that is returned, for example, in each loop of a for each statement. The yield keyword is also used with break to signal the end of iteration. 1. Method of operation of yield. When combined with the return mechanism allowing creation, the function returns a value that handles certain information in the loop, and puts an end to certain conditions before it. This is contrary to the case of a normal return. I get a return value of the function that will return and finish the function at that point. But here, the function is to call back in the loop containing the yield return function that just ended. From here we can imagine an action that is rather abstract, but can be useful in some cases, to help keep code concise and tight. 2. Some requirements for the use of yield return. Do not put yield in an unsafe block. Do not use ref or out keywords with the parameters of the method, operator or accessor, getter, setter. Yield return can only be placed in the try block if it is followed by a finally block. Yield break can be put in the try block and catch, but not placed in the finally block. Do not use yield of the anonymous method. Next question. IEnumerable vs iterable. IEnumerable. IEnumerable exists in system collections namespace. IEnumerable can move forward only over a collection, it can't move backward and between the items. IEnumerable is best to query data from in-memory collections like list, array, etc. While query data from a database, IEnumerable execute a select query on the server side, load data in memory on a client side and then filter data. IEnumerable is suitable for link to object and link to XML queries. IEnumerable supports deferred execution. IEnumerable doesn't support custom query. IEnumerable doesn't support lazy loading. Hence not suitable for paging-like scenarios. Extension methods support by IEnumerable takes functional objects. Icareable. Icareable exists in system. LINQ namespace. Icareable can move forward only over a collection, it can't move backward and between the items. Icareable is best to query data from out memory, like remote database, service, collections. While query data from a database, Icareable execute the select query on the server side with all filters. Icareable is suitable for LINQ to SQL queries. Icareable supports deferred execution. Icareable supports custom query using createquery and execute methods. Icareable support lazy loading. Hence it is suitable for paging-like scenarios. Extension methods support by Icareable takes expression objects means expression tree. Next question. What is tuple? How to return multiple values from method. C# tuple is a data structure in C#. Tuples in C# are used to return multiple data values. If you need to return multiple values from a method in C#, there are three ways to do so without using tuples. Using zero-out parameters. Using a class, struct, or a record type. Anonymous types returned through a dynamic return type. In C#, tuples solve this problem. C# tuple is a data structure that provides an easy way to represent a single set of data. The system tuple class provides static methods to create tuple objects. Tuples allow us to create, access, and manipulate a data set. Return a data set from a method without using the out parameter. Pass multiple values to a method through a single parameter. Question 24. Singleton class vs static class. Similarities between singleton and static. Both static and singleton classes can have only one instance available in the memory. Both classes can be used for holding the global state of an application. Differences between singleton and static. A singleton class supports interface implementation, while static classes cannot implement interfaces. A singleton class supports inheritance, while a static class is a sealed class, and therefore cannot be inherited. A singleton class can inherit from other classes, while a static class cannot, not even from other static classes. A singleton class can be instantiated using the new keyword, while static cannot be instantiated, static class can be used directly. Both singleton and static are stored on the heap memory, but static classes are stored in a special area of the heap memory called the high-frequency heap. Objects in high-frequency heap are not garbage collected by GC, and hence static members are available throughout the application lifetime. A singleton class can dispose, while a static class cannot. A singleton class can have a constructor, while a static class can only have a private static parameterless constructor and cannot have instance constructors. A static class has better performance since static methods are bounded on compile time. A singleton class can be lazy loaded when needed, while static classes are always loaded. Static classes are loaded automatically by the .NET Framework Common Language Runtime, CLR, when the program or namespace containing the class is loaded. Next question. What is LINQ? LINQ in C# is used to work with data access from sources such as objects, data sets, SQL Server, and XML. LINQ stands for Language Integrated Query. LINQ is a data querying API with SQL-like query syntaxes. LINQ provides functions to query cached data from all kinds of data sources. The data source could be a collection of objects, database or XML files. We can easily retrieve data from any object that implements the IEnumerable less than t greater than interface. The official goal of the LINQ family of technologies is to add general-purpose query facilities to the .NET framework that apply to all sources of information, not just relational or XML data. Advantages of LINQ. LINQ offers an object-based, language-integrated way to query over data no matter where that data came from. So through LINQ we can query database, XML as well as collections. Compile time syntax checking. It allows you to query collections like arrays, enumerable classes etc. in the native language of your application, like VB or C# in much the same way as you would query a database using SQL. Thank you for watching our video. I am Sirish Kantamaneni. If you have any questions or doubts on the topic like technology and career guidance, please comment below so we will reply or make a video on it. You are watching